Hi, I'm Lizzy. I'm the mom part of Lucky Lamb Fiber Arts, and today I'm going to talk about wool. You've seen in some clips how we shear the sheep, and this is how I clean it. So I either do this outside or I put a towel on my lap and I spread the wool fibers apart, and this lets any dirt or vegetable matter drop out. Here's part of the seed, and I just spread them out, and sometimes I kind of pull on the ends. They're kind of dirty until I'm satisfied that all the vegetable matter's out. And then I sometimes pinch the end, the other end, the clean end, and to see if there's any second cuts, which are tiny little balls of the wool. And they will kind of make your finished product lumpy. Although if you're needle felting, it doesn't matter too much. If you're spinning, it would. Okay, and then I take what's clean. I take a little more than this, but I wet it with just hot water, and then I put some VO5 shampoo on there. And if you can dilute it with some hot water, it really works better if it's not real thick. And then I just take my fingers and I scrub, and I might do the other side and I scrub, trying to get that dirt and lanolin off of there, and then I squirt it again. And then it turns out like this. I just did this. You can see the difference. Okay, so it comes out pretty clean. Then I see once in a while I still missed a little weed seed or something, and you can see it better when the wool's clean. This is still wet. Here is some that's dry. So after it's dry, I'll put it on these are wool carders, and to clean out any, like I was carding some colored wool, some that I had dyed. So if I don't want that in there, I use one of Laura's crooked knitting needles and just scrape that out of there and pull it out. And then I lay the wool here, and you don't really have to press very hard. I usually keep my elbows in, and what the carding does is it puts the wool fibers in the same direction. If you've ever done pickup sticks and they land all different directions, that's kind of how the wool is sometimes, and you want all the fibers to go the same direction. And a strand of wool has little barbs on it, and that kind of makes it, when you needle felt, that they stick together. And the more kinks that it has in it, it's kind of like a little curlicue, and the more of that it has, the flatter these will lie together, because all those little elbows lock together. And then if it's really nice wool like this is, I usually do it a little thicker, but I might give this to Laura so she can spin, or I can needle felt. And this is a needle felting needle. It's very sharp, and it has little barbs. If you looked really close, you can kind of feel them. It's kind of rough. And what they do is they push the wool fiber down, but then when you bring it back up, they also pull it. So it's pushing and pulling and just locking things in place. And how I do it is I might, to make a circle, I just kind of go like this. Sometimes I have like a Pringles lid, a plastic lid that I've cut the center out of to help me make a better circle. You don't have to do that. You can make a heart shape. Wool is very forgiving. If you don't like your shape, you can sometimes just undo it. Or if you're decorating it a certain way and you don't like it, just pull the wool off. And anyway, I do this over and over again until I get a flat disc. And then sometimes I will stack those flat discs one on top of another. And then I went ahead and wrapped this in nice wool and needle felted it some more. So you can't see the little layers, otherwise you'd see the layers of the little discs. And you can wrap dyed wool around it. This one is purple, and I'm going to do yellow on the other side, and you can see this has kind of gotten just distorted and stuff. So I would just card this again until it's nice and fluffy. And then this is called, when I'm done with this, it's called a row lag. And this yellow has a lot of second cuts. You can see it's kind of chunky in there. So this wouldn't work very good for spinning, but it's fine for needle felting. Again, you're just getting them to lie in the same direction. And then I get it off with my high-tech fancy machinery here. Now this looks better, okay? And then I would just take this and put it there against the purple and just needle felt it into there. Now this little pin cushion is thick enough that I can do it without this, but this is a needle felting brush. So when I'm working with something that's thinner, I have to use this needle felting brush, or you can make them, you can also just use wool, but I like this brush. It's very small. So if you want to do bigger projects, you need to get something bigger. But anyway, so you just would needle felt this, and you do it a long time. I've been told that merino wool needle felt's the best. I've never used merino wool. What we have, some of our sheep are polypay, or, well, the rams are polypay, which is a 4-way cross, but most of our sheep are Dorset, and it seems it works fine for my things. So this is a heart shape that I did, and I can actually embroidery on this part of it. It's just a thinner piece, and so I could embroidery, like this is a wool brooch that has a pin back on it, so you can pin it to your shirt. And I have embroidered on it and then finished the back with a little more wool, and then I sewed the pin back on. But you can embroider on this, and you can hide your stitches on the back. You can travel along the back, so you might have a big old piece of thread across there, it doesn't matter. And then you needle felt that. I can do names, embroider names, and I do that for people. They see examples of what I've done and they say, hey, can you do my name? Sure. And once I have it embroidered, then I needle felt this thinner piece onto the thicker piece, and then I will take a piece of nice wool and I'll wrap it around here, and I will start needle felting, and I'll do the sides. You can kind of maybe see a little bit of the layers here where I've put hearts together, and then I'll needle felt the edge, and I'll wrap the ends of it over the sides here, and then it'll just look like a thick heart, but you've had embroidery here. Or I can just needle felt. Here's a brooch that I did it just in white, and then I added the colors, the dyed wool to it. And you can make flowers and little insects. And here's a couple of ones I've done. So anyway, that's how I do. So they take a long time to make, and but we have fun doing it.